The road to the college football playoffs begin tonight. Hello, friends, and welcome to the season premiere of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. I don't think Michael Bullock will be joining us this evening. We're hopeful of having him with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Tonight, the 2022 college football season kicks off, and what a game we've got going on right now. A 5-star Shakespearean drama classic. The number 17 Pittsburgh Panthers at home against the West Virginia Mountaineers in a renewal of one of the great rivalry games of all time, the backyard brawl. And this game has most assuredly been a backyard brawl. Oh my goodness. 38-31, Pittsburgh leading West Virginia. 22 seconds left. West Virginia is driving for a game-time score. The play, however, is under review, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Two other ranked games that went down tonight. They have gone final. Number 12, Oklahoma State, jumped out to a huge lead against Central Michigan. Central Michigan made a little noise near the end, but it was too little too late. Oklahoma State holds off Central Michigan 58-44. And number 22, Wake Forest, no trouble whatsoever with VMI. Easy win for them, 44-10 beatdown for them. And with that being said, let's dive on in to the first of our ranked matchups within the top 25 this week. Oh, the call has been reversed, and it looks like this game is almost over here. So, oh boy. So, wow. I thought he caught it, but apparently he did not.
No, it actually bounced on the ground, Anthony. He made the diving catch, but the nose of the ball actually touched the ground. That was the correct call. So yeah, no, that's it. One kneel down, and Pittsburgh will survive.
What a game. MF, I know you were out working, but I'm telling you, I've been keeping an eye on this game for like the last hour or so. Wait till you see the highlights, because this has been an unbelievable opener. This is how you start a college football season right here.
Well, if you really think about it, this is one of the old rivalries of college football. They call this the backyard brawl
Yes, sir.
between West Virginia and Pitt. These two teams were very influential in the Big East era. So this was like the first time in about what 11 years that they got to face off against each other. So no,
11
there's
years.
still some genuine bad blood between these two teams after years and years and years. So it's good to get at least a rivalry back in college football on opening weekend, the true opening weekend of college football.
Yeah, not that week 0 stuff we had last week, but I'll tell you what, Nebraska and Northwestern, Dublin, Ireland, that was a fun game too.
Yeah, very enjoyable game.
At the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland, where Northwestern knocked off Nebraska 31-28, and now that should do it. And the Pittsburgh Panthers defeat the West Virginia Mountaineers 38-31. Pittsburgh's first win over West Virginia since 2008. So 14 years since Pitt has knocked off West Virginia. And MF, I think your favorite thing is about to happen. I reckon a stampede is coming. So pyro going off around the newly named Acrisure Field, even though we still call it Heinz Field in our hearts. But what a game! And if this game's any indication, we're in for something very special this season. So, all right. So, college football playoffs start New Year's Eve, and the championship game Monday night, January 9th, 2023, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. So, all roads lead to that. So, let's start it off with our first game of the night. Only one ranked game tomorrow night. and it features the. Just want to make sure I get the correct number here. The the number 15 Michigan State Spartans. They're at home against the Western Michigan Broncos. Spartan Stadium, East Lansing, Michigan. This game will be over on ESPN. 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow
Actually,
night.
correction, Anthony.
ESPN two.
ESPN
Yeah,
two. Yes.
yeah, I just got noted that. The game will be on ESPN two. Actually, it was scheduled to be on ESPN, but due to ESPN wanting to cover Serena Williams in the U.S. Open, they switched the game over to ESPN two. So the Western Michigan Broncos and the number 15 Michigan State Spartans on ESPN at the Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. And on the call for that one will be Roy Philpott, Andre Ware, and Paul Carcaterra. Michigan State opening up as a 21-point favorite. No surprise here. And yeah, it's going to be Michigan State. These teams have played 16 times, and the Spartans have won the last 12 meetings dating back to 1921. The last time they met in 2019, Michigan State won 51-17 in East Lansing. Michigan State is a 21-point favorite after finishing 11-2 last season and winning the Peach Bowl over Pittsburgh. Michigan State gets back 9 starters on defense, including all 4 of its leading tacklers. Without Kenneth Walker III, the running game will likely take a step back, but starting quarterback Peyton Thorne, who threw for 3,232 yards and 27 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions, returns. Western Michigan returns just 4 players on offense from last season's 8-5 team. Broncos' 2 wins against Sparty came in 1917 and 1919, so Michigan State should extend its streak rather easily. 35-10, Michigan State all over Western Michigan. Not much more to say. MF, welcome to a brand new era of College Football Thursday, now under the TXN Sports World banner.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible moment. And you know what? It's the same old college football fun that we normally do. Just has a new name, but the hard hitting attitude, the rants and the rage is definitely going to be there. But at the end of the day, I got to go with Sparty as well. I think Michigan State, they're going to be poised to be one of those teams. They want to get a get right year. They had a great season, like you said, 11-2, got to the Peach Bowl, which is a New Year's Six as an at-large, and got the win. So now the question becomes is, where do we go from here? What does it play? Where are we going to look at? And I really believe that Sparty is going to look really good. They're going to want to set the tempo for the rest of the Big Ten to say, hey, we're going to be, you talk about the Ohio States and the Michigans. Keep an eye on us this year. We're gonna be a dangerous team as well. So I think Sparty will get the job done. I think they'll win this game. So yeah, give me Michigan State to win. So Florio, next game.
And MF will be leading off on that next game as we move to the Saturday slate of action. The first of only 3 high noon games that we'll be covering in the noontime slot. And it features the number 6 Texas A&M Aggies opening up the season at home at Kyle Field as they will be hosting the Bearcats of Sam Houston. This game will be over on the SEC Network. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter on the call. There is no spread for this game. I don't think it's going to be needed. You have to imagine A&M's going to be an overwhelming favorite at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. So, MF, I think this is a rather easy one to call here.
It is a rather easy one to call when you talk about Texas A&M because of the fact that the expectations are going to be very high this year. Because of the fact, with the SEC and everything else going on, obviously a lot of people are going to say clearly Alabama and the reigning national champions Georgia. We'll get with them a little bit later on tonight. But the one thing is that where is Texas A&M? And Jimbo Fisher really stirred the hornet's nest.
Boy, did he.
During the offseason, especially during the SEC Media Day, and his little back and forth with Nick Saban over the NIL and some other stuff. And boy, did it explode. And so A&M needs to basically show that, hey, we want to be just as good. We want to be dangerous. This is your first game. Yes, it's against Sam Houston State. Obviously, a lot of people are going to believe that this is going to be an easy victory. That's why there's no line. So you got to make a statement. When you play a team like this, especially a team from the WAC conference, the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference, you need to make a statement to the rest of college football, and especially when you're ranked number 6 in the country, that's a measuring stick for everybody else because you're going to have Ohio State, you got Notre Dame, you got Alabama, you got Georgia. So there's teams all higher than you. And the thing is that even though I know it's early in the season, but games like this, statements like this could give a committee some kind of look at like a blueprint. All right, how did you do against the non-conference? What did you do against those teams earlier in the year? Did you dominate? Did you have problems? Did you have a fight along the way that gives you a tougher road? So A&M needs to show that we're here, we're going to be contenders, and we're going to be threats. And when we get to the SEC conference play, you want to have a good record, you want to be undefeated, and you want to look really, really good. So A&M is going to do that. They're going to dominate. Early victory for them. And I know Jimbo Fisher has got that thing in his head about everything that you've been hearing. Because what's the one thing that you've been hearing the whole time, Anthony? Alabama, Georgia, the best of the SEC, and then it's everybody else. Texas A&M is going to want to prove this year, we deserve to be in that conversation. It's time that you show us some respect. On Saturday, that mission begins with a big win over Sam Houston State. Florio, it's all yours.
Texas A&M was one of 2 teams to knock off Alabama last season. That makes for a pretty successful season despite an 8-4 finish. It's worth watching whether the Aggies can compete in the SEC West. They return 11 starters, and 50-year head coach Jimbo Fisher is expected to go with Haynes King behind center. King started Texas A&M's first 2 games last season before suffering a broken tibia. The Aggies made some noise with their number 1 ranked recruiting class, but it'll take time before Fisher gets results from that group. Sam Houston State has had a lot of success in recent years in the FCS. The Bearcats actually won the national championship in 2020 and went 11-1 last season. This one seems like it could be a potential upset, but Texas A&M has beaten its last 3 FCS opponents by a combined score of 173-13. The Aggies should open the season on a high note at home. 38-10, Texas A&M all over Sam Houston State. So, not going to waste too much more time on that one. Let's get to our next noon game. Here you go, MF. It's your team, the number 8 Michigan Wolverines, opening at home in the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And they will be hosting the Rams of Colorado State at noon on Saturday. This will be on ABC. Mark Jones, Robert Griffin III, Quint Kessenich will be on the call for that one. And Michigan opening up as a 30.5-point favorite. Yeah, we all know how this one's going to go. Michigan defeated Ohio State for the first time since 2011 last year, and it finally got a college football playoff berth. It was about as great a season as fans, including MF and Bullock, could ask for, even after the Wolverines fell flat against Georgia in the semifinal. They returned 9 starters on offense, including quarterback Cade McNamara and star running back Blake Corum. Colorado State has struggled in recent years. The Rams haven't finished above 500 since 2017 and went 3-9 last season. Wolverines are 12-1 in home openers since 2009. Jim Harbaugh's team shouldn't have a problem. McNamara will start, and sophomore J.J. McCarthy will get the nod in Week 2 against Hawaii. If McNamara has a big day, it might be enough to win him the job. Easy win for Michigan, 47-14. Michigan all over Colorado State in the Big House. So, not much more to say. MF last year, I'll tell you, I mean, you and Bullock.
It was a dream year.
You and Bullock, especially you. it was a season. It was one of the best Michigan years in a very long time. You were like, pinch me. I don't want to wake up yet. But guess what? Georgia woke you up.
Yeah, they did. They brought us back down to earth. We're on this natural high. Please don't ruin it for us. Nah, Georgia was like, forget that. We don't care. So yeah, Michigan. Look, Michigan had a once in a lifetime season last year, and I know a lot of people is like, all right, try to do that again. And the thing is that it is going to be a little more difficult. It is a little more harder because when you become the hunted, it's not an easy feeling. Because that's the thing. We were the hunters a year ago. So that's why I think a lot of people were shocked to see that Michigan did as great as they did. Now this year, Michigan is not the same, team that they were about a year ago. A lot of people believe that Michigan should win, but can they turn it around? Can they, keep it clean? Can they do this? Can they do that? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. All we know is that now Michigan has to turn it around and try to bring back that same energy, that same firepower, whatever they want to bring that they brought a year ago. We'll have to wait and see. All we know is that it's going to be an incredible battle, and again, Michigan is gonna utilize what brought them to the dance, and that is the running game, a ferocious defense, which was on the top half of college football last year. That really got Michigan going. Their defense got them going. Cade McNamara is back as the starter, but they said that they might be utilizing two quarterbacks in their first game, which is fine, no problem. But I feel like Cade McNamara will be the line guy. He'll be the one that gets the bulk of the snaps. And as long as he doesn't make the big mistake like he had done in the game against Georgia, then I believe they should be fine. That should be a win for them. And yes, they should have their first big victory of the season. Michigan should have no problems with Colorado State. So that should be a victory for the Wolverines. Anthony, next game.
And we move on to our final high noon game, and it will feature the number 13 North Carolina State Wolfpack on the road, as they will be taking on the hang on 1 second here.
The Pirates of East Carolina.
Yeah, the Pirates of East Carolina. I was just checking the stadium there, because it's not often we call on them. Oh, all right, Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Yeah, Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Number 13, North Carolina State on the road at East Carolina. This game will be on ESPN in the noon times, the noon window, and on the call for that one it will be, trying to find it here. All right, here we go. That will be Anish Shroff, Brock Osweiler, and Lauren Sisler. They will be on the call for that one. And North Carolina State opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. So MF, big expectations for NC State this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Big expectations for NC State because of the fact of where they were about 1 year ago. Look, I think a lot of people may believe that they could be a very legitimate threat in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. I kind of feel like this will be a major test for them. Even though Eastern Carolina is the home team, I just feel like NC State should get the job done. They'll have enough weapons that they should be able to win the game. So like I said, I'll go with this one here. I got North Carolina State, the Wolfpack, winning the game. Anthony, it's yours.
Clemson is the favorite to win the ACC Atlantic Division, but NC State is expected to finish right behind the Tigers. The Wolfpack went 9-3 last season and had a chance to reach 10 wins until the Holiday Bowl against UCLA was canceled because of an outbreak of COVID 19 among the Bruins. Quarterback Devin Leary is expected to do big things this season. Last season, he had his best year yet, throwing for 3,433 yards, 35 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. He had a 5-game stretch in which he threw for over 300 yards against ACC opponents. NC State returns 10 starters on defense as well, including leading tackler Drake Thomas. East Carolina is a tricky opponent. Quarterback Holton Ahlers and running back Keaton Mitchell returned from last season's 7-5 squad. ECU has lost the last 2 games in this series, in 2018 and 2019, but actually won the last home matchup in 2016. In fact, NC State has lost 4 of the 5 matchups played in Greenville. This one will be entertaining throughout, and the Wolfpack will pull away late. I think NC State will survive, but I think East Carolina is going to give them some fits. NC State wins. My final score, 28-21. NC State holds off East Carolina. So with that, we move on to the 3:30 window. And oh boy, we got 5 games in this window, but we're starting it off with the first half of our double main event. A college football playoff matchup, no doubt about it. This is a matchup that's beyond worthy of the college football playoff, no doubt about it. The number 3 reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champion, Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, and they will be squaring off against the number 11 Oregon Ducks, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia, on ABC. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Molly McGrath will be on the call. And Georgia opening up as a 17-point favorite. Georgia opens with one of its toughest 2022 opponents. The Oregon Ducks have former Bulldogs defensive coordinator Dan Lanning as their new head coach. Lanning added Auburn transfer quarterback Bo Nix this offseason, who is expected to start Saturday. The Dogs lose 8 starters on defense from last season, but linebacker Nolan Smith returning is big. The Bulldogs will be loaded on offense in 2022, featuring quarterback Stetson Bennett. Targets like Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, and Eric Gilbert should give Bennett the opportunity to improve in the passing game in 2022. The biggest question surrounding Georgia this season is if the offense can win games if it has to. Last season, Georgia virtually never had to play from behind because its defense was keeping opponents off the board. This game has a lot of hype surrounding it, with Georgia being the defending national champions and Lanning's obvious familiarity with the Dogs. This should and will be one of the best games of the weekend. I'd like to see the 2019 version of Bo Nix when he threw for 2,542 yards and 16 touchdowns under new Ducks offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham. I don't think this is the game that tests Georgia's offense the most, but it should be a fun one at least. I could see this game, close going into the fourth quarter, but I think the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, the reigning champs, I think they'll pull away at the end. So I think they'll seal it with a late score to put away a very game Oregon team. So apologies to our dear friend Eric Carrier, but sorry, brother. I gotta go with the champs on this one. 38-24, Georgia holds off Oregon in what will be, without a doubt, one of the best games of this weekend. Even though West Virginia and Pittsburgh just set the bar really, really high after their unbelievable 5-star tonight. So, but this one could just as well be one. But I think Georgia will pull away late. 38-24, Georgia holds off Oregon. MF, what a way to start off this season. The first half of our double main event, one of the first of 2 games that, without a doubt, are definitely worthy of college football playoff status.
Yeah, this is one of those big matchups that everybody's looking forward to. And when we found out about this matchup for the opening weekend, Anthony, I think we can honestly say we were salivating when we saw this matchup this is one of those matchups where we're just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be good. And sure enough, when you get Georgia, the reigning champions, on opening day, going up against Oregon soon, and we don't know what the future of Oregon is going to be, especially with this realignment coming up very, very soon. Maybe Big 12, maybe they stay in the Pac 12. We don't know. But one thing is for sure, Oregon has always been a staple and a very dangerous team. And we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But um, I'm with you here. I got to go with Georgia to win it. And I think it's going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough matchup. But I do believe Oregon just does not have the weapons to stay with Georgia. I think Georgia finally, after they won the national championship, it feels like they got the monkey off the back. Now it's smooth sailing from here. So I do believe Georgia will win it, and they'll win it pretty good. So nothing more to say. Floyd, what's yours?
All right, MF, and you'll be leading off on our next 3:30 matchup. Back to reality, as it will be, one of the Zonk games here, as it will be the number 9 Oklahoma Sooners opening their season at home at Gaylord Family Memorial, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma, as they will be hosting the Miners of UTEP. And this game will be over on Fox. And on the call for that one will be Jason Benetti and Brock Heward. Oklahoma opening up as a 30-point favorite. MF, I don't think there's anything left to say except Boomer Sooner and Brent Venables debut as Oklahoma head coach.
Yeah, game just actually got announced 5 hours ago that their game against UTEP is sold out. The SRO signs are up in Norman, Oklahoma for Brent Venables' debut after, well, let's say it, Lincoln Riley basically exit stage left and screwed Oklahoma right out, taking the job at USC. And let's just say a couple of super fans of Oklahoma's had a few choice words privately between myself and Anthony Florio during the off season about how they feel about that happening. So yeah, Brent Venables is coming in with a lofty expectation, big time expectations for Oklahoma, not only to get back and win the Big 12 championship, but become a national power again, to be that team that just a few years ago was a threat for the national championship, to get into the college football playoffs, the CFP, and more importantly, be one of those teams that will be established. Because remember, in just a couple of years from now, they're heading off to the SEC. So this is going to be one of the last few times that they're going to be in Big 12, even though Big 12 country really feels betrayed after Oklahoma basically took the money and ran and is running towards the SEC. So there's going to be a lot of not so pleasantries coming up in the near future, but we'll get to there at some point. But no, this is a game that I think Oklahoma will establish. They'll dominate early, offensively, defensively, and I do believe they have a Heisman Trophy candidate for Oklahoma. I think either their running back or their quarterback is actually a candidate for Heisman. So you might see a really good performance to start the season for Boomer Sooner. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Brent Venables' tenure is going to start out with a glowing victory in Norman, Oklahoma. Fire that gun.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. I think I can help you out with who that individual is, because it's in my notes here. The Brent Venables era will begin against UTEP. The longtime Clemson defensive coordinator brought a lot of talent with him via the transfer portal, including UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel. I think that's who you're thinking of, MF. Over 3 seasons with the Knights, Gabriel threw for 8,037 yards, 70 touchdowns, to only 14 interceptions. Under former Ole Miss offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jeff Lebby, Gabriel should put up big numbers. UTEP finished 7-6 last season and is off to an 0-1 start following a 31-13 loss against North Texas in Week 0. The Miners have lost 10 straight games against ranked opponents by an average of 35.7 points. This will be no different. All Oklahoma, all the time. Boomer Sooner, 52-12. Oklahoma, all over UTEP. So, nothing more to say there. Getting into our next 3:30 matchup. And it will feature the... here you go, MF. Another one of your other favorite. The number 16, Miami, Florida Hurricanes, the U. Opening up at home at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and they will be hosting the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. And this game will be over on the ACC network. Jorge Sedano, Forrest Connolly, and Marilyn Payne will be on the call for that. And this is another game that does not have a spread, because you have to imagine Miami's going to be a sizable favorite here, and rightfully so. And there isn't much to say on this one, except there's been plenty of hype surrounding Miami since Mario Cristobal was hired as head coach in December. It's no secret that the Hurricanes are looking to become nationally relevant again. A former Miami offensive lineman, Cristobal went 35-13 over 5 seasons at Oregon and might be the answer. He's likely a big reason why the Canes are the favorites to win the ACC Coastal Division this year. Another reason is returning starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. He threw for 2,931 yards, 25 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions in 10 games after starting the season behind De'Aaron King, who underwent season-ending shoulder surgery. Hailing from the MEAC, Bethune-Cookman went 2-9 last season. These programs have met 5 times, and Miami has won all 5 by an average of 39 points. Expect Van Dyke and the Canes to have a big day against the Wildcats. Easy win for the U, 52-14, the U, all over Bethune-Cookman. So MF, here's your other favorite team, the U, opening up with a gimme and a freebie at home at Hard Rock against Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, this is a freebie and a gimme. And, like you said, they actually shocked the college football landscape by getting Mario Cristobal, pulling him away from Oregon to coach the Miami Hurricanes. And trust me, Eric Carrier had a few choice words for Mario Cristobal going out the door. He was not happy at all. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. I was ecstatic. I was very excited seeing that. The thing is that with Miami, look, we loved the Manny Diaz's era because of the fact that he brought the turnover chain and everything else. And there was a little bit of that swagger that Miami had, and it came back in a way. But Mario Cristobal is a proven winner. This guy has brought Oregon to heights that were never seen before. He had brought them to Rose Bowls. He had brought them to, big Pac-12 championship games and everything else. And I believe they won a few along in his tenure. Now Mario Cristobal is going to have a daunting task to take the Miami Hurricanes, a national powerhouse, and to make them relevant again. The Manny Diaz's era was good. Mario Cristobal has the daunting task of taking that next step, winning the ACC, bringing them to the college football playoff, and ultimately winning a national championship. That is the mission for the Miami Hurricane fans, and they have not had it since the beginning of the turn of the century. Because remember, that was the Ken Dorsey team that went undefeated, winning the national championship at the Rose Bowl of all places, winning it in Pasadena. I think that was the wipeout or the thrashing that they had over Nebraska, if I remember correctly. I think it was the 2001 beatdown, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but Yeah, so that is the way that they need to get to, more importantly. But I think Miami will start off with a hot start and a big victory. So, Anthony, it's back to you.
All right. So with that, um, MF, I believe you lead off on the next one, and oh ho, it's our number 3 game of the week, and this is the game that is, I believe, without a doubt, the sleeper game of the week right here. The number 19 Arkansas Razorbacks at home against the number 23 Cincinnati Bearcats at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, on ESPN. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Tiffany Blackman will be on the call. And out of all the matchups this week, well, actually, no, this is actually the second closest by spread. There's only one spread that's actually closer. And ironically, it's the game that we'll be covering next after this one. Arkansas opening up as the favorite, but the spread is only 6.5. It's a 6.5 point spread for Arkansas. So MF, Cincinnati, Arkansas, two of the surprise teams of last year. Arkansas came out of nowhere, as you know, but Cincinnati, man, oh, so close, but yet so far away when it came to the college football playoff on their end. So, MF, I believe this one goes to you. So, number 19 Arkansas at home against number 23 Cincinnati, number 3 game of the week, but also the sleeper game of the week.
Yeah, actually, Anthony, yeah, I actually just went back. Yes, I actually am correct. It was 2001. Miami did beat down Nebraska 37-14.
Yep, I
Uh,
remember.
yeah, so it was actually correct. It was the
Yep.
Rose Bowl, the 2002 Rose Bowl. It was January 3rd, 2002, but it was the 2001 season that was the end, the be all, the end all. Yay for me. I got that one right. So, but no, I mean, this game here, oh my goodness, this is going to be a big matchup. This is going to be a great matchup, no doubt about it. And two very good teams. Two teams that really you kind of have to think about it as two teams that flew under the radar. Nobody really expected many great things from them, and both teams were pleasantly surprises. Cincinnati definitely was more better than anything else, but I gotta say, Stata Sorrell and her Arkansas Razorbacks, man, were they a joy to watch last season, and now they're gonna try to parlay that into something a little more special. This is a tough matchup too because Cincinnati, I know a lot of people did not give them a lot of respect. A lot of people were like, because they were not really they were in a major conference, so you kind of flew under the radar. They caught everybody's eyes the minute they beat Notre Dame. When they beat Notre Dame last year, I believe they beat them last year. When they beat Notre Dame, that was the moment that everybody turned their heads and they're like, okay, wait a minute. There's something special with this Cincinnati team. They got our attention now. And boy, did they deliver and then some. Heartbreak that they didn't get to the college football playoff. However, this is a major test, but I gotta go with Arkansas. I think Arkansas's got the weapons, and they're gonna be, and plus being at home, that's gonna give them enough motivation to get them over the line. I got picks, raw pig suey. I got Arkansas winning this game. Very close, very tight, 28-17. Anthony, I give it to you.
Actually, MF, Cincinnati made the playoff last year, but they got beat down by Alabama,
Bama crushed them.
the Cotton Bowl, 27-6, and so that's just to clear that up. So yeah, Cincinnati was in the playoff last year, but anywho, This game is quite the intriguing out of conference matchup for week one. The Bearcats are coming off a historic season as the first group of 5 team to make the college football playoffs. Cincinnati's 13-1 record was the best finish in program history. Arkansas finished 9-4, a drastic improvement from its 3-7 mark in 2020. Cincinnati has to replace a lot of talent, including quarterback Desmond Ridder. The Bearcats also lost 6 starters on defense. Their biggest question is if head coach Luke Fickell can keep them nationally relevant. Upsetting Arkansas on the road would be a good start. I think it will be entertaining for 3 quarters, but expect quarterback KJ Jefferson and the Razorbacks to put this one away late. I got Arkansas winning this game as well, MF. I'm right there with you. 38-28, Arkansas defeats Cincinnati. So not much more to say on that great matchup. And now we move on to our final 3:30 matchup, as it will be the number 24 Houston Cougars on the road taking on the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Oh yeah. From the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. And this game will be over on the CBS Sports Network. Rich Waltz, Aaron Taylor, and Cherie Burris. And interesting to note, Cherie Burris is replacing Jenny Dell. Jenny Dell used to be on the A team for CBS Sports Network. But as you know, Jenny Dell will be working with Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson on the SEC on CBS, replacing Jamie Erdahl, who is now the new female host of Good Morning Football, replacing Kay Adams. But story for another day. But Houston and the University of Texas San Antonio in the Alamo Dome. And this is the closest spread of all our matchups this week. Houston is opening up as only a 4-point favorite. So that's something we need to keep in mind. But speaking of dark horse playoff teams, Houston has a chance to be what Cincinnati was last season. The Cougars went 12-2 last year, losing 35-20 to the Bearcats in the AAC title game. Houston returned starting quarterback Clayton Tune, who threw for 3,544 yards and 30 touchdowns. With running back Alton McCaskill, the 4th, out for the year with an ACL injury, but senior Tayzon Henry should fill in ably. UTSA had the same record as Houston last season. The Roadrunners were undefeated until they lost at North Texas on November 27th. UTSA then beat Western Kentucky 49-41 in the Conference USA title game. The Roadrunners returned quarterback Frank Harris and senior receivers Sakari Franklin, Joshua Cephas, and DeCorian Clark. This game should be entertaining, and it might come down to the wire. Houston can pull it out, but I would not be surprised if UTSA somehow, someway pulled off the upset. But I'm going to say Houston barely escapes this one. Shootout in the Dome, 45-38. Michael Bullock is here. We're going to be doing a lot of catch-up with him in just a little bit. But for right now, MF, the number 24 Houston Cougars on the road in the Alamo Dome against the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Wow.
You're really tempting me to do it, aren't you, Florio? You really want me to do it.
I was kind of hoping, but, it's okay.
I come on, man. I know the way you set things up. So nah. It's okay. It's all right. But I will say this: this is a dangerous game, and you could easily call trap game for Houston. No doubt about it. UTSA had a great season last year. Anthony, you alluded to it. How this team was undefeated. They were the darlings for a little while, man. We were keeping a very watchful eye on UTSA until they did get upended at the end. Because everybody was saying, remember, if you're a top 15 team and you're a non-power 5 conference team and you go undefeated, you automatically get a New Year's 6 bid. So for UTSA, you're actually looking at an opportunity. If you would have ran the table, we would have had a major dilemma on our hands because you would have had Cincinnati and UTSA, and which one would have gotten the UTSA possibly would have made New Year's Six, and we would have been like, whoa. So two from the non-power five making college making the New Year's Six bowl games. Oh my goodness, that would have been monumental. That would have been massive. Breaking the glass ceiling, as they would say. So at the end of the day, yeah, this was a great season for UTSA, and with Houston, we were very high on them. They had a good season. Like I said, this is an upset alert, but I mean, I gotta go with Houston as well. It's gonna be a tight game. It's gonna be close, but like you said, Florio, would we be surprised if the Roadrunners steal this one from the Cougars? They could go into that old Acme bag and maybe drop an anvil on these Cougars, and next thing you know, Mimi, gone. Well, let's see. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, welcome to the show. Florio, catch him up.
And MF, you just made my night. All right. So that's exactly what I was hoping for. All right, Bullock, come on in. Let's get you caught up on the games we've covered so far, including the one we just covered.
Yeah, I'm just going to go rapid fire on this.
Exactly. That's it. Tomorrow night, number 15, Michigan State at home against Western Michigan.
Yeah, I got Michigan State winning this.
All right, Saturday slate, number 6, Texas A&M, also at home. They're hosting Sam Houston.
Yeah, I got the Texas A&M Aggies winning this one.
Your team as well as MF's, number 8, Michigan at home against Colorado State.
I think Michigan gets off to right start, and hopefully this will be the start of a little bit of a redemption. I'll say, Florio, the job that wasn't finished, losing in the college football playoff. So I think they get off to a good start here. I think Michigan wins this one.
All right, and we also have number 13, North Carolina State on the road against East Carolina.
Oh, what was that again?
Number 13, North Carolina State at East Carolina.
Yeah, I got North Carolina in this one.
Yeah, NC State. And then in 3:30 matchups, the first half of our double main event, number 3, Georgia, squaring off against number 11, Oregon.
Oh man, this is going to be a real good game here, but I just think by a slim margin, I got to go with the main and
The number 9 Oklahoma Sooners opening at home against the Miners of UTEP.
Oh, it's the Oklahoma Sooners, Boomer Sooner all day long.
The number 3 game of the week and the sleeper game of the week, number 19 Arkansas at home against number 23 Cincinnati.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one here, but I think, again, by a slim margin, I got to go with Arkansas.
And then I went a little out of order, but that's all right. Number 16, Miami, the U, at home opening up against Bethune-Cookman.
Oh, I got the Miami Hurricanes winning this one.
And the game that we just covered, number 24, Houston on upset alert in a trap game in the Alamo Dome at the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners.
Man, this is a tough one. I mean, you know what? I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to say upset city. Texas San Antonio upsets the Houston Cougars.
Wow. All right. We'll see what happens.
I think we need to see our first upset of the season, and I think this is the one we're going to see right here.
All right. We'll hold you to that. We'll see what happens. All right.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Exactly. That's what we always say. So, all right, Bullock, you're all caught up, and we're going to move on to our next matchup here. We got a 4 o'clock. We got the first of 2 4 o'clock games here. The number 21 Ole Miss Rebels at home at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, and they will be hosting the Trojans of Troy. This game will be over on the SEC Network. On that call, it will be Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang. Ole Miss opening up as 21.5-point favorites. MF, you start this one off. Number 21 Ole Miss opening up at home against Troy. MF, are you there?
Yep, what's up?
Number 21 Ole Miss opening up at home against Troy in the first of our two 4 o'clock games.
Oh, okay. I got Ole Miss. I'm sorry. I was preoccupied for a moment. I got Ole Miss. I think they're gonna win the game. I think it'll be pretty easy for them to win it. So I got nothing more to say. So, uh, do I give this one to Bullock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike Bullock.
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be an easy day for Ole Miss. I see them having no problems with Troy here, so I got Ole Miss winning this one. So it's yours, Florida.
Ole Miss has gone 15-8 over 2 seasons under Lane Kiffin, but the Rebels have to replace a lot of talent from last year's 10-3 team. Ole Miss gets back just 5 starters on offense. Kiffin did make big moves in the transfer portal, including landing USC quarterback Jackson Dart, TCU running back Zach Evans, and linebackers Troy Brown and Kari Coleman. Whether the Rebels can make noise in the SEC West is the biggest question heading into this season. Troy has a new head coach in John Summerall, a longtime assistant. He spent the last 3 seasons with Kentucky under Mark Stoops. The Trojans returned 9 starters on each side of the ball. Against current SEC teams, Troy is 3-23. We'll see if the newcomers on the Ole Miss offense can put up some points. Easy win for Ole Miss, 48-10. Ole Miss all over Troy. Not much more to say there. The other 4 o'clock game, and it features the number 25 BYU Cougars on the road against the South Florida Bulls at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. This game will be over on ESPN University. Ted Emmerich, Barrett Brooks, and Ashley Stroline will be on the call for that one. And BYU opening up as a 12-point favorite. So Michael Bullock, number 25 BYU on the road against South Florida at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, I got BYU winning this one. I mean, I think South Florida. I mean, they might be able to hang with them for a little bit, but I just think in the end, BYU is going to end up pulling away on this one. So I got BYU winning this one. It's your Florida.
Yeah. These teams played last season in Provo, Utah, down 28-6 at halftime. The Bulls outscored the Cougars 21-7 in the second half, but never got the ball back after a touchdown with 5:41 left. BYU finished 10-3, while USF went 2-10. The Cougars are a potential dark horse college football playoff contender in 2022. They return 8 starters on offense and 11 on defense, and will face Baylor, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Arkansas. USF head coach Jeff Scott is in his 3rd season and has 10 starters back on offense, plus a big get in the transfer portal. Former Baylor quarterback Jerry Bohannon. Bohannon started 12 games for the Bears last season, helping them reach the Big 12 title game and win the Sugar Bowl. He missed the regular season finale and conference championship game with a hamstring injury. BYU is a 12-point favorite, which sounds about right. The Bulls should be improved, but BYU has a much more experienced group. BYU pulls away late and wins this one 38-24. BYU wins in Raymond James over South Florida. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm also with you on this one. I got BYU winning. I kind of feel like they're gonna, you know, this was another team that was the darlings for a little while before they actually fell apart towards the end. And I kind of feel like they're actually gonna have they could have a big season here themselves. So I got BYU winning, and Anthony, I believe it's time for the nightcap. Well, semi nightcapper.
Well, we have one 6 o'clock game to get through first before we
Yeah,
get to
that's the
prime time.
semi-nightcap game before
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
alluding to.
yeah. Just the one here, and then we'll get into the prime time games, if you will.
Mm.
Um, that one 6 o'clock game will feature the number 14 USC Trojans opening up at home in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and they will be hosting the Owls of Rice. This game will be on the Pac-12 network, and on the call for that one will be Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth. USC opening up as 32.5-point favorites. Oof. So not much else to say on that. All right. Perhaps the team with the most hype entering 2022 is USC, thanks to the hiring of Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. He brought along with him quarterback Caleb Williams, who threw for 1,912 yards, 21 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions in 11 games, including just 7 starts last season. Riley also added Pitt receiver Jordan Addison and Oregon running back Travis Dye. Still, the Trojans have a tough schedule ahead. USC plays Fresno State in Week 3 and visits Utah, Arizona, and UCLA before finishing with Notre Dame at home Thanksgiving weekend. Rice hasn't had a winning season since 2014 and went 4-8 last year. This marks its last season in Conference USA before it heads to the American Athletic Conference. Williams and the Trojans are 32.5-point favorites over the Owls. USC has what it takes to win by even more than that, and they will. Easy win for SC. 48-3 USC all over Rice. So not much more to say. MF, when was the last time USC had this much hype going into a season?
Yeah, I think it was probably back when Pete Carroll was the head coach, and then they had Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. That daunting team that went all the way to win the national championship that year. That remember USC. The last time the USC was like that was really they had a dynasty on their hands between with the USC had Trojan had a dynasty going. It wasn't until, if I remember correctly, Vince Young and the Texas Longhorns upending them in what undoubtedly at the time was one of the greatest national championship games we ever saw at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, which oddly enough was legendary Keith Jackson's last game as lead commentator for college football. So yeah, there was really nothing more to say. I mean, I got USC winning, and Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the last time, I mean, USC had this much hype was when Pete Carroll was the coach. So, I mean, can they back it up? We'll have to wait and find out. We're going to find out when their season starts Saturday. So, but for right now, I got USC winning this one easily. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, gentlemen, now it's time for prime time. The prime time games of this opening weekend. We have four games that will be starting at 7 o'clock, and we start off with another one of the games of the week. And once again, I stand corrected. This game features the closest spread out of all the spreads this week. We kick off the 7 o'clock action with our number 4 game of the week, and maybe number 5. It's definitely within that realm. The number 7 Utah Utes on the road at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, as they will be squaring off against the Florida Gators in Florida on ESPN at 7 o'clock. And on that call, it will be Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Chris Budden. And the smallest spread, Utah opening up as only a 3-point favorite. MF, if this doesn't scream trap game when it comes to this matchup with number 7 Utah and Florida, tell me what does, because this has trap game written all over it for Utah. They got to go to Florida to start it off? Not
Yeah,
easy.
you gotta go to the swamp of Gainesville. Yeah, not an easy place to play, not an easy game at all. But the thing is, and here's the real issue here. What type of Florida team are we going to get? I think that's the real concern is that um you know, with right now with with Jack Miller, the quarterback for Florida, um, you don't really know if he's going to be able to play. You know, I think there's a little bit of concern about him. Um, well, actually, no, he is. He's set to be the backup quarterback behind Anthony Richardson. Um, but even there, it's uncertain if he's even going to be available for the game. So if that's the case, that actually might help Utah bridge that gap a little bit. I got the Utah Ute winning regardless. I think this team is gamed. Look, I disrespected Utah last season and didn't give them the recognition or the credit that they so richly deserved. I'm not making that same mistake again this year. Utah, I think, is definitely out for, out to prove that last year was not a fluke, that they are definitely here to stay, and that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with, not only New Year's Six, but they're going to keep a watchful eye on this team for maybe a college playoff berth, a college football playoff berth. So I got Utah winning it. It's not going to be pretty, but they will get the job done. So Utah wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean this is going to be one hell of a game here, and like you said, which Florida team is going to show up here? I mean, but either way, I think Florida's definitely going to give Utah some real fits here. I mean, they got the home field advantage. They're playing in the swamp. Utah's got to go into that hostile environment. But I think in the end they'll find some way to come out of this one with the victory. So I got Utah winning this one. It's going to be real close. I say they win this one by a field goal. So Florio, it's yours. But like I said, I mean Utah will win this one. But if Florida pulls it off, I would not be surprised.
Absolutely not. And this game looks like a potential upset, with Utah having to go on the road to face Florida in a primetime matchup. It's tough to open the season like that, but the Utes look like they have what it takes to get the job done. They won the Pac-12 last year and finished 10-4, and they returned 8 starters on offense, including Heisman Trophy hopeful quarterback Cameron Rising. Leading rusher Tavion Thomas is also back. Florida, meanwhile, has yet another new head coach in Billy Napier. He inherited a roster with 13 returning starters, but the Gators will be outmatched talent-wise. Florida fans are expecting big things from quarterback Anthony Richardson, but the sophomore started just one game last season, throwing for 82 yards and 2 interceptions against Georgia. Utah is a 3-point favorite, and Florida has a 32-game winning streak in home openers. I think the crowd will keep the Gators in this game for a while, but the Utes' talent will make the difference. I got Utah winning, close game. I got them winning by a touchdown, however, not a field goal. I got them winning by a touchdown. 35-28, Utah steals one in Florida. So not much more to say on that. Let's move on to our next 7 o'clock matchup, and it will feature the number 10 Baylor Bears, the reigning and defending Big 12 champions, opening up at home at McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas. And they'll be hosting the Great Danes of Albany. And you can find this game over on ESPN Plus, for those of you who have it. Pete Souza, Chad Brown, and Shane Sparks will be on the call for that one. No spread for this one. Baylor, you have to imagine, is going to be a sizable favorite here. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, should be an easy win for the defending Big 12 champs.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an easy win for the defending Big 12 champs in Baylor. So there's really nothing more to say. I got Baylor winning one of them out. It's yours.
Yeah, head coach Dave Aranda found success in year 2 at Baylor last season after going 2-7 in 2020. The Bears won the Big 12 and finished 12-2. Their 2 losses to Oklahoma State and TCU kept them out of the playoff. The Bears are expected to be in the mix for the Big 12 again, but standing in the way is a tough schedule featuring road games against, get this lineup, guys: BYU, Iowa State, West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Texas. Quarterback Blake Shapen, who led Baylor in the Big 12 title game, could have a breakout season. The Bears shouldn't have a problem against Albany. The Great Danes finished 2-9 last season and might be one of the few opponents Baylor can easily beat by at least a couple of scores this season. Baylor wins big, 45-13. Baylor all over Albany. MF. MF Albany and Baylor.
I got to go with Baylor. You know what? I got to say it. Desmond Howard really stirred a hornet's nest today by declaring that he believes Baylor could make the college football playoff. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he actually had Baylor as one of the final 4 teams to play for the national championship this year.
Wow.
Boy, that's a bold statement there by Desmond Howard.
Yeah,
Whether that actually
I
happens or not remains to be seen.
definitely no doubt about it. But for me, honestly, I do believe Baylor will win this one, and I think they'll start off on the right foot. So I got nothing more to say. So, Michael Bullock, I got Baylor winning. It's yours.
He led off, so
All right, sorry.
so it goes back to me here. Next 7 o'clock game features the Bullock started that one. So this one goes to me next. The number 18 Wisconsin Badgers opening up their season at home at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, hosting the Redbirds of Illinois State. This game over on FS1. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman will be on the call for that one. No spread. You got to imagine Wisconsin is a very sizable favorite in this one, and rightfully so. And of course, why not? I mean, Wisconsin finished 9-4 last season, but missed out on the Big Ten title game. The Badgers returned just 8 starters from last season, including only 3 on defense. Luckily, star running back Braylon Allen and 3 offensive linemen are back. Illinois State went 4-7 last season under longtime head coach Brock Spack. The offense struggled, averaging just 252.4 yards and 18.4 points a game. Oofa. Wisconsin is 9-0 against FCS teams since 2006. We likely won't get too many takeaways about how the Badgers can compete in the Big Ten West, but Wisconsin should win big. Allen should have a strong day as well. Easy win for Wisconsin, 35-6, all over Illinois State. So, MF, Wisconsin opening up at home with a freebie of their own against Illinois State at Camp Randall on Saturday night. So, MF, it's yours.
I think at the end of the day here, when it comes to this matchup, I just don't see how um, I don't see how this ends any other way. I mean, look, you're talking about we're talking about Kentucky, right?
No, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin? No.
Wisconsin at home against Illinois State.
Yeah, I know. Then there's really no need for me. Camp Randall, Wisconsin against Illinois. Nah, Wisconsin wins easily. I just there's really nothing more to add. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Wisconsin winning this one. Uh, this won't even be close, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right, MF, you'll be leading off the next game. Now it's Kentucky. The number 20 Kentucky Wildcats opening up at Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. They'll be hosting the Redhawks of Miami of Ohio. Here's another game that you can stream on ESPN Plus. Mike Morgan, Tom Ramsey, and Coley Harvey will be on the call. Kentucky opening up as a 16-point favorite. All right, MF, now you can talk about Kentucky.
And the thing is that with them, they were a little bit of the darlings for a little while, and then they kind of fell off towards the end. But I do got Kentucky winning this game. I just don't see Miami of Ohio really giving them much of a problem. I could see them winning this by at least 3 touchdowns. So Kentucky by 3 tutties, as they would say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Kentucky winning this one as well. I see them probably winning it by 3 scores as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Speaking of Mark Stoops, he has pushed Kentucky into rarefied air. The Wildcats went 10-3 last season, which marked their second 10-win season since 2018. Their only other 10-plus win seasons came in 1950 and 1977. Returning quarterback Will Levis was a big part of that success. The Penn State transfer threw for 2,826 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Also became the 7th player in program history to put up over 3,000 yards of total offense. Miami of Ohio has found consistency under their head coach Chuck Martin, who is entering his 9th season. Since 2018, the Redhawks have finished 500 or better, including a 7-6 mark last year. Kentucky is 21-1 in home openers against non-Power 5 opponents. Levis and the Wildcats should have a big day. 45-13, Kentucky all over Miami of Ohio. So that's all there is to say on that one. 3 games left, and we have 2 7:30 games. Before we get into the other big main event, we have one other order of business to take care of. 7:30 kickoff. The number 1 team in all the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide, opening up their season at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. And they'll be opening up against the Aggies of Utah State. This game will be over on the SEC Network. And on that call, it will be Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik. Alabama, the biggest favorite of the week. That's known anyways. Alabama opening up as a 41.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, there's nothing left. We always like to say next victim when it comes to Bama, but in this case, first victim for Alabama.
Oh yeah, this is the first victim for Alabama, so this is easy. Alabama wins. This isn't going to be close all the way. It's yours, Florio. Florio.
Oh, I forgot to unmute my mic. Oh my goodness. Exciting night to say the very least. All right. Alabama is the national title favorite once again heading into 2022. Wow, what a surprise. The Tide returned 7 starters on defense, including linebacker Will Anderson Jr. Anderson, who finished 5th in the Heisman voting last season, is one of the best players in the country. The linebacker had 102 total tackles and 17.5 sacks last season. Anderson and fellow returning linebacker Henry Tuo make Alabama's defense one of the best in the country for 2022. Offensively, Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young is back this season. I think losing receivers John Mechie III and Jamison Williams will cause Young to take a step back this season. But Bama landing Georgia Tech running back Jahmyr Gibbs should be huge for the run game. Utah State did go 11-3 last season, and they returned 12 starters. The Aggies are already 1-0, defeating UConn at home in Week 0. However, Utah State is 1-18 versus current SEC teams. Bama should win big. 42-17, Alabama roll Tide over Utah State. MF, first victim. Not next victim, first victim.
First victim, no doubt about it. But I have to say this. Next week, Alabama against Texas.
Game of the week, boys.
Game of the week, not only that, but a future showdown that we're going to see. Because remember, Texas, Oklahoma, going to the SEC next a couple of years from now. Not next year, but the year after in 2024. Ooh, we're gonna get our first little taste of the showdown. So we'll see how that plays out. I know Nick Saban. I know how Alabama it, will line here. So I don't think there's going to be much of an issue or a problem, but we'll wait and see how it plays out. So I say Bama wins it. They'll win it easily. Well, I guess it's time.
Oh, it's time.
The main event,
The other half of the double main event, but in many people's eyes, this is the main event.
the main event, and major college football playoff implications right out of the gate for this one.
Oregon and Georgia was one thing, but how about number 2, Ohio, the number 2 team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, opening up at home at Ohio Stadium in the Horseshoe in Columbus against the number 5 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. ABC Saturday night game of the week. You don't need an announcer dirt sheet for this one. You already know who it's going to be. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, they'll be there. Ohio State opening up as a 17-point favorite. And lucky me, I get to start off. We'll have our usual main event fun in just a moment, but I got to take my shot first. This is, without a doubt, the best matchup of the weekend. Ohio State missed out on the college football playoff last season, but still finished 11-2 and won the Rose Bowl. The Buckeyes returned 14 starters, including Heisman candidate quarterback C.J. Stroud, also back as receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba, and leading rusher Trevion Henderson. Notre Dame, meanwhile, will begin a new era under head coach Marcus Freeman. The Fighting Irish return 8 starters on defense, the unit Freeman oversaw as defensive coordinator before being elevated to head coach last December. Notre Dame, per usual, has playoff hopes as an independent, but a tough schedule featuring BYU, Clemson, and USC might make a playoff path more difficult. It'll be interesting to see how new Irish quarterback Tyler Buckner plays in a hostile environment. This should be a good game, but the Buckeyes D, it at home, gives them a big edge. So I think this is another game that's going to be close into the fourth quarter, but I think Ohio State will pull away with a late touchdown and seal it. 28-17, Ohio State defeats Notre Dame. Hurts me to say it, but I got to be realistic, and I got to be the man who tells it like it is. If Notre Dame were to somehow, some way steal this one, holy wowzers, that would be something. That would be something. That would be nothing short of a miracle. Considering how angry and motivated this team is after they got embarrassed by their most hated rivals, MF and Bullock, last December on a snowy afternoon in Ann Arbor, Michigan, last Thanksgiving weekend. And this is the team that I believe will give Alabama and Georgia major fits when it comes to the national championship, when all is said and done. And don't be surprised if we see this team possibly at SoFi Stadium January 9th of 2023. So 28-17, Ohio State gets by Notre Dame. I think they put it away with a late score to put away a game Irish team in the Horseshoe. So MF as the Kirk Herbstreit to my Chris Fowler. And I got to do it. When we have a game of this magnitude, this is what the words main event were meant for. Because this right here, this is the main event, brother. It don't get no bigger.
Yeah. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great game. Look, Ohio State is stinging right now. They are on the verge of basically revenge. What happened to them a year ago was without a doubt the most shocking thing that ever happened to them. And the thing is that at the end, they didn't win the Big Ten. They didn't win the national championship. They went to the Rose Bowl. They won that game, but they were tested. And at the end of the day, when you're Ohio State, your standards are a lot more higher than any team in the Big Ten. You're you believe that your given right is to be there at the end. But guess what? They didn't. They fell apart. It wasn't there. So they got knocked out. They got kicked out, and it was what it was. It is what it is. But I'll tell you one thing for sure: it will be an incredible matchup, an incredible game, and yeah, it's gonna be it could be a national championship battle. So I got Ohio State winning as well. It's gonna be a close matchup. There's really nothing more to add there. Michael Bellick, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Notre Dame and Ohio State, the main event.
Uh, yeah, this is the true definition of the main event. I mean, and if you're Ohio State, I mean, there's one thing I'm sure that's still on their mind. Ann Arbor, Michigan, back in the late in the season, where you were thinking all we gotta do is win, and we have a chance of maybe being in the Big Ten title game or even the college football playoff. And that loss to Michigan was the one that really hit them. And yes, they went to the Rose Bowl and won it, but they felt like they didn't accomplish what they set out to do. And for Ohio State, this is a chance for redemption, and it starts Saturday. And for Notre Dame, they got to go into that hostile environment in the horseshoe in front of that big crowd there. This could be this is the first game of the season. This is their first true test for especially for the new coach. So I think Notre Dame will hang with them for a while, but in the end, I think Ohio State pulls it out. So I got the Buckeyes winning this one in a close one. So Florio, it's yours.
One more to go, gentlemen. The final game of the night. And it will take place on Labor Day night, Monday night. A little precursor to Monday Night Football, if you will. Labor Day, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The number 4 Clemson Tigers squaring off against the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Dave Patch, Dusty Dvorak, and Tom Luginbill will be on the call for that one. And Clemson opening up as a 23-point favorite. MF, final game of the night. Number 4 Clemson, Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to cap off Labor Day Monday night.
Yeah, I gotta go with Clemson too. I think a lot of people kind of feel like, oh, Clemson took a spot down, that they're not as good as they used to be, and a lot of people has a feeling that Clemson might fall apart this upcoming season. I disagree with that. I think they're going to be just as fine. I don't think there's going to be much of a problem, and I think they're going to try to do whatever they can do to make a run at this. So I think Clemson's going to get the job done. I think they're going to win this game, and there's really nothing more to say. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got Clemson winning this one. I think they should have no problem with Georgia Tech. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, finish it off.
It's no secret that Clemson had a down year in 2021. Although the Tigers finished 10-3, they missed out on the ACC championship game and college football playoff. But as long as Dabo Swinney is the head coach, Clemson should be in the playoff hunt. Swinney lost longtime coordinators Tony Elliott and Brent Venables to head coaching jobs this offseason. We'll see how both units adjust with the respective coordinator changes. The biggest question mark entering 2022 for Clemson is their quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. The junior struggled significantly last season, throwing just 9 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. If Uiagalali struggles how he did last season, expect Sweeney to give true freshman Cade Klubnik a shot under center. The Tigers get back 9 starters on offense and 6 on defense. It's unusual to open the season against a conference opponent, but the Tigers shouldn't have a problem against a struggling Yellow Jackets program. Georgia Tech has gone just 9-25 over 3 seasons under their coach Jeff Collins. Clemson has a 7-game winning streak against Tech. Tigers should win big, and they will. 35-7, Clemson all over Georgia Tech. And with that, that'll put a bow on the season premiere, the Week 1 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, we'll be back with you tomorrow night, 11 p.m., over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will review Friday Night SmackDown, the go-home show for Clash at the Castle, tape show, by the way, a rare live AEW Rampage, and then we will preview the WWE Clash at the Castle pay-per-view. And then Saturday night, 10:30, again with MF on Brace Fan 95, a special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, as we are going to recap the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view and preview the AEW All Out pay-per-view. And then Monday night, another loaded week, boys. Ridiculously Raw, special edition of Ridiculously Raw, right back here on the Tone 25, as we will review. We're going to jump it off with our review of NXT Worlds Collide. We're going to review that, and we're going to review Monday Night Raw. No Tony's Take. We're going to bypass that for the week. Wednesday Night Madness, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We're going to jump that show off with our review of AEW All Out. We're going to review the AEW All Out pay-per-view alongside of NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite. Next Thursday night, the Week 2 edition of College Football Thursday, headlined by Alabama and Texas in the game of the week. But there's another game that needs to be worth mentioning, gentlemen. How about Baylor at BYU? There's another intriguing sleeper matchup. A lot of dud zonk games, honestly, but those are the 2 big ones next week for Week 2. And then Cerebral Smack Talk, and then Saturday, September 10th, the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday. Yes, Bullet? Oh, okay, never mind. All right, so that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, over on the MF channel, Brace Fan 95, Anthony Florio here, for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, always and forever, of course, the First Lady Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up, talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless, be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the season premiere, Week 1 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody, bye.